The truth is, your 20s may not be as amazing as you believe. People say this decade is the best of your life, but it's full of mistakes and heartbreaks. These are lessons that confront you directly. If I could go back, I'd tell my younger self to shake it off. You should tell yourself, wake up. Stop spending time trying to impress people who don't matter. Start focusing on what I did make every mistake in the book, but I learned from them. The challenging things that no one tells you when you're young are exactly what I'm going to tell you today. About me. I used to believe that I had unlimited time when I went out every day. I spent the weekend trying to achieve what I perceived as success and obsessing over it. I didn't care what other people thought of me, but one night I was broke and stressed out in my apartment. That's when it all clicked, and I finally understood what was going on. I woke up to the reality of my life. Your 20s aren't meant for living. These steps are about building the basis for your best life as soon as possible. The sooner you accept that, the faster you'll stop feeling lost and start making your life truly yours. People care less than you think, which is the first harsh truth. This is a harsh reality that can both inflict pain and liberate you simultaneously. We often think the entire world is observing us and scrutinizing each decision we make. Triumph occurs, but most people are too preoccupied with their own problems to notice it. Lives to give yours more than a fleeting thought, but you're not. When I was in my 20s, I enjoyed being the center of everyone else's universe. I was concerned about how other people perceived me, whether it was at work, in social settings, or even online. I always wondered if what I said was right, and if they thought I was smart. Am I dressed well enough? What I remember is an event where I was embarrassed for weeks after making a small mistake in a work talk. I lost sleep over it, certain that everyone was laughing behind my back because they thought I was stupid. Hey, guess what? No one cared. By the next day, everyone had moved on. I'm still annoyed at myself for something that no one else forgot. This applies to more than just embarrassing situations. Consider the content we share on social media. Photos and stories often unconsciously seek approval. Not praise or likes, but people scroll past your life the same way you do. Past theirs because they're too busy worried about how people see their own posts, and you forget what you saw 5 minutes ago that they forgot too. Here's the truth. Most people are. They're not analyzing your life because they're too busy worrying about themselves and their own troubles. Ensure that everything you say or do aligns with your expectations. They might notice something for a moment, but it goes away quickly. They process information almost as quickly as it enters their mind. You're not the star of their mental movie. They are. It may feel like a blow to the ego, but once you accept it, it's so great. When you let go of the idea that everyone is always looking at you and judging you, you feel free. Have faith in yourself and stop letting fear of judgment paralyze you. I started wearing I wore clothes that made me feel good, even if they weren't the newest styles. Once I overcame my fear of appearing foolish, I expressed my opinions during meetings. I took chances, because I knew that if I failed, the world would still go on, and no one would be upset about it except me. Knowing I don't have to act for an uninterested audience is beautiful. You should stop trying to live up to other people's standards if you want to be happy. You stop seeking confirmation when you realize that most of those expectations are unfounded. From the outside, because you know that the real, true foundation comes from, this is what the deep message says, when you know that people care far. It's not nearly as much about you as you've convinced yourself it is. In your mind, you stop trying to please other people and start living for yourself. Real growth begins there. You can try new things, make mistakes, and pursue your goals. You can be passionate about things without having someone constantly looking over your shoulder. The only person whose opinion matters on your journey is you, your own, because you have to live with the choices you make. Make decisions that align with your beliefs to avoid regrets and celebrate your victories. And not what you think other people want from you, because most of the time they're not paying nearly as much attention as you think they are. This is the second harsh truth that will hurt you emotionally. Though difficult to accept, this truth is also one of the most important. An important reminder is that feelings are not facts. They're short-term responses to outside events, and letting them lead you astray is not a beneficial idea. When I was in my 20s, I made a lot of choices based on how I thought that if I was mad, I'd act out, and if I was sad, I'd shut myself off. If it excited people who cared about me, I would immediately agree to it. I did a lot of things without thinking about the results, and every time my feelings led me in the wrong direction, I felt awful about it. To be clear, feelings aren't always bad. They can teach us a lot. What we think about the world around us is important, but the problem arises when we allow our feelings to dictate our decisions. We tend to make decisions based on our emotions rather than reasoning, or what's best for us in the long run. For example, I remember a time when I was angry. When I got into a heated argument with a close friend over a minor issue, I made some unintentional statements. I wasn't intending to say hurtful things that would damage our relationship for years, but I was angry, lied to me and told me I was right, and that my feelings justified what I said. But when the storm was over, all I could feel was regret. The feelings had gone away, but the effects were still there. Have you ever felt anger and sadness? The stress of a difficult situation made you want to give up. In my 20s, I also gave up on things like a job, a romance, and even a dream of mine. I gave up easily because my feelings told me it wasn't worth the fight. I dropped an important job because it seemed too hard at the time. You can tell this based on how I felt. I failed. But the truth is, things can look worse than they really are when you're feeling upset. I found out later that if I had stayed strong a little longer, the hard times would have ended and I would have grown stronger from them. As an example of love, we often fall in love with someone because of how we feel. You may have heard the term situations or people that aren't right for us. It's true that love is blind, and when we're in a relationship, we can ignore warning signs and danger signs because we're too caught up in love, attraction, or excitement. I stayed in a bad relationship for a lot longer than I should have because I let my feelings lead me. Because I felt attached, I believed I could fix things, messed up my judgment. Looking back, I can see how my feelings kept me trapped. The environment I was in was detrimental to my health, but here's the harsh truth. When emotions come out in answer to events, they're only there for a short time. It asserts that your emotions from one moment can influence the next. This is why it's risky to make decisions solely based on feelings. Angry choices don't last, but fearful ones do. You could hurt someone for a long time with your anger, sadness, fear, or even joy. Mood swings are only temporary. The important thing is to recognize your feelings, but not let them rule you. They're telling you something, but they're not giving you the whole story. The goal of Stoicism is to grow at a keep your emotions under control rather than letting them control you. If someone controls you, that doesn't mean you have to hide your thoughts. Being aware that they are just temporary clouds in your mind's sky, you observe and understand them, but don't follow their advice. Maintaining a calm attitude allows you to separate yourself from the mood swings of others. Instead, guide your decisions with logic and reason for your best interests. Long-term goals. When you're calm, you can see things as they really are. Don't just consider how it feels. Consider what acts reflect your values. Short-term emotional wave the deep message when you know that your feelings will lead you astray. You are empowered to make better choices. Avoid your feelings, but don't let them rule your actions. When it comes to feelings, they change like the weather, often without warning, but you wouldn't build a house in that weather. Your life should not revolve around the daily weather report. Trust me, you shouldn't base your life on how you feel right now. Your reason, not your emotions, will help you overcome life's problems as quickly as possible. When you get successful at this, you stop responding to things that happen in your life. Every emotional trigger should prompt you to react with clarity and purpose. This represents the third harsh reality that your circle must confront. While you're in your 20s, it's easy to think that the bonds I will always remember those wild nights out, the ideas you shared, and inside jokes mean that these people will stick with you through positive times and bad, but as you grow, you change. And if you take on new tasks, you'll see that friendships are just like anything else. Individuals must align their life paths with hard work and sometimes difficult choices. When goals shift, seemingly unbreakable things begin to happen naturally. It's just life. It's not personal. In my 20s, I had numerous friends. I thought my close friends and family would always be there for me. But as the years went by, I saw that circle. The group shrank. Some friends moved away, and others focused on work or family. Some of us simply parted ways as our values and hobbies evolved. There was a time when I thought I was losing my way and falling behind, but now that I look back, I can see that it was a normal and even necessary process, but not everyone is. People in your life teach you, but they don't stay. Share their stories or be there for you during certain stages, but when this shrinking circle loses many links as parts end, it's challenging to accept, especially if you value bonds that last a long time and are loyal. I used to be that person. I think that if someone left my life, it was my fault. Maybe I hadn't put in enough work, or that I might have done something wrong, but the truth is that less spectacular than that. People change and grow, and sometimes it's okay if they grow in different ways. It doesn't mean they'll lose friends. It wasn't important. It simply had its own time and place. Now it's time for both of you to move forward. There's also the fact that as you age, makes you pickier about who you let in. When you're in your 20s, it's simple to let anyone in with the goal of make as many connections as you can. But as you gain knowledge, you realize that not everyone should have a place in your life. I learned that I needed friends who shared my values. People who shared my beliefs, supported my goals, and helped me grow as I began to let go. Letting go of easygoing friends meant that my group got smaller, but much more. More importantly, this process teaches you that quality matters more than quantity. As your group shrinks, the individuals who truly matter remain. You don't need dozens of people around you. You just need a few who will understand you, push you, and help you along the way. Few people really care that how many nights you spend together doesn't make a bond stronger. They invest time in you and support you during challenging times. The trust you have in each other inspires you to strive to be a better person. For yourself, there's also a Stoic side to this, the idea that it ties to other people. Stoicism teaches us that things should never lead to dependency. Respect, understanding, and shared values should be the foundation of friendships. A real friend is someone who walks with you through life, not someone who gets in the way. A smaller circle means when you let go, you free up more space and time to focus on your mission and self-improvement. Cutting ties with friends who don't serve you anymore isn't selfish. It's making room for relationships that really matter. The deep lesson is that your circle will get smaller, which is a good thing. It's not something to be afraid of. It's something to value the people who stay in your life. People in your life support you as you grow. They'll celebrate your successes and comfort you when you're down. When you need it most, it can help you deal with your losses. Consider a shrinking circle as an opportunity rather than a loss. Evolution involves improving the quality of relationships with those who truly matter. It may feel lonely at times. When you let go of nonconformists, you'll attract true contemporaries. Make your life better, and that's worth more than the biggest social media following. The fourth discipline is more important than the circle you could ever dream of. Inspiration can feel like a sudden burst of energy. Energy that drives you to work hard toward your goals. But inspiration is unpredictability, often coming and going without notice, and depend on it too. Anything important is like waiting for the right weather to go outside. You could end up waiting a very long time. Being able to keep your promises is what makes your hand steady and reliable. No matter how you feel, if I were in my 20s, I would only start things with excitement. I decided to let them go once the initial excitement faded. I believe I'll revisit it later. It rekindles my inspiration, but I was unaware that growth doesn't happen overnight. Bursts of energy that come from working hard every day. Discipline is beneficial because it keeps you from having to count on your moods. When you're disciplined, you train. You should tell yourself to follow your goals rather than your emotions, as they can reveal whether or not you're inspiring. Over time, this consistent effort culminates in tangible outcomes. Drive alone could never accomplish the task. The deep lesson of drive may start a fire, but it stays lit when you choose discipline over waiting for motivation. You take charge of your way, become stronger so you can accomplish the important things in life. Even though it's not a pleasant thought, the idea that you'll fail more often than win is one of the most let go of the idea that you'll fail a lot. In fact, failure is likely to be Amor. Failure is more common than success. But let's be clear. Trouble is a teacher who tells you what you did wrong and how to fix it. I understand what it truly takes to achieve your goals. In my 20s, I struggled with fear. I thought of failure as a sign of how valuable I was. I thought that every mistake was a sign of this way of thinking, made me afraid to take chances and defined me in some way. Go after big goals, which made me give up early. But I learned in the end, I understood that each setback served as a stepping stone towards my success. Target. When you accept that failing is a normal part of the process, you become. As you grow stronger, you begin to view failures as opportunities rather than as losses. Don't be like people who never fail. Be like people who fail a lot, over and over. Learn from your mistakes and keep going. Thomas Edison famously failed thousands of times. Many times in the light bulb, his answer was, "I have not failed. I've just someone believes they've discovered 10,000 unsuccessful methods." Everyone understands that failure is a necessary component of success. This doesn't mean that failure, it hurts. But each time you rise again, you become stronger and smarter. These mistakes teach you things that books and motivational quotes can't. They show you your weaknesses will challenge you and enhance the sweetness of your eventual success. The deep message that you'll fail more than succeed is worth it. That's fine. Every loss is a lesson that gets you ready for the next one. Accept it, learn from it, and keep moving forward, because resilience is not a weakness. Perfection is what makes things last 6 months. Perfection is a lie. In our 20s, many of us strive to lead flawless lives, secure ideal jobs, and social media doesn't help us find the right partner or the best version of ourselves. Alternatively, it's filled with flawless images that have undergone editing to reveal the truth. It is not only possible to achieve perfection, but it is also expected. Truth. Achieving perfection is unattainable. It's a constantly shifting objective. be fully reached. It's a myth that perpetuates our pursuit of unattainable goals. There isn't one. I used to believe that if I worked a little harder or pushed myself with a little more, I could finally reach that perfect state I thought success was. It meant having everything together and not seeing any mistakes or flaws. Every time I thought I had found the perfect thing, something would move and show me something new, flaws or better standards to meet. It got tiring, and to be honest, I couldn't move forward because I was stuck in a pattern of judging myself and has impossible goals. The great thing about letting go of perfection is that when you stop trying to reach an impossible goal, you make room for yourself to grow. You understand that flaw when you make mistakes, try new things, and learn. It's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of being human, which is what truly matters. Is not the flawless outcome, but the path you take, the growth you make, and the more resilient you become. This mental change doesn't mean you. If you accept mediocrity, you understand that growth takes time. And that done is better than perfect for every artist, writer, and every business owner has faced this at some point, the world's most important issue. The finished, shared, and published work isn't perfect. Even though it has some problems, deep message perfection it's a lie that will only hold you back. Real happiness comes from growth, not from avoid striving to achieve an unattainable standard. Embrace your imperfections and you'll find contentment. 7. Your ego will destroy you if you don't deal with your weaknesses. Your ego is like an unseen anchor. It's a voice that tells you you're unique. Being in your 20s and building your job is a unique experience. Ego can make you think you don't need connections and self-identity. They should not be told that their way is the only way, or that they are better than the lessons they learned. I had to learn this lesson the hard way, but here it is. An uncontrolled ego is a trap that keeps you stuck. It prevents you from realizing your full potential by leading you to believe that safety is synonymous with progress. This will bring you back to reality and halt your growth. I learned this the difficult way. I turned down a job offer early in my career when I was sure I knew best. Following the advice of my co-workers, I ignored comments and missed out on important chances to learn. I believed that asking for help and admitting ignorance would make me appear weak. It gave me respect, but all it did was keep me from progressing and put me in a bad light. My ego tried to protect my pride by repeating mistakes, but strangely Stoics often told me not to let my ego get in the way of my potential, seeing it as one of the biggest things that keep us from becoming wise and growing, our pride and the things that drive us. Because of pride, fear of being found out, and defensiveness, our ego tells us that we're already great, already skilled, and it keeps us from seeing where we need to improve. Avoiding vulnerability is crucial for real learning and improvement. Ego avoids situations that could reveal its weaknesses. They like being recognized for their comfort and sticking within the limits of what they know and safe. The funny thing is that those who are willing to they will remain humble for the rest of their lives because they understand the importance of growth. They are always learning and changing, even if it means admitting they don't know something. Failures. Many successful people attribute their achievement to their willingness to ask for help and listen to others. They should respect those who came before them and understand that they don't know everything. People who are humble are usually strong. They learn from their mistakes and adjust. Let them go fast, and don't let pride stop them from growth opportunities. Of ego doesn't mean you don't have confidence or drive. It means you have it takes courage to show interest, ask questions, listen, and admit that. When you let go of the need to be right all the time, or protect your image, you can always learn something new. You give yourself permission to grow in ways that matter, And lastly, you discover that being honest about your weaknesses is a sign of real power that lets you do outstanding things. Deep message: ego will hinder progress if you rely on perfection. Letting go of the need for approval will ruin you. Be humble and remember this. Being open to change and letting go are what give you real confidence. You gain ego to become your best self. When you are young, health is very important. Health often seems like a given. You always have it on hand because you push your body to its limits, don't get enough sleep, and drink a lot of coffee. You may eat fast food and comfort foods because you think you'll get serious about taking care of yourself later. If you're not healthy, money doesn't really matter. Relationships and goals are important, but they cannot be achieved without your physical and mental health. Well-being began to lose its value when I was in my 20s. I'd skip meals or only eat quick foods for everything but my health. Fixes to keep up with my busy schedule. I thought I was unbeatable, but what I wasn't aware of was that I was slowly losing my energy and attention. Strength. As time passes, these minor compromises accumulate and become challenging. Years of bad sleep and eating habits might not be noticeable at first, and stress will get to you. Health isn't just staying healthy. It's also getting healthy gives you the energy to work toward your goals and provides you a clear vision for what you want to achieve, to make smarter choices and the strength to deal with life's ups and downs. When you take care of your mind and body, you build a strong foundation that all the other parts of your life can stand on. Investing in your health now will save you a lot of money in the long run. After experiencing doubts and spending a significant amount of money, it can be easy to forget the importance of our bodies. Even when things look like they're going well, the habits you formed as a child will either come back to haunt you or reward you. As you age, you don't simply stop experiencing late nights, stress, and disregard. What you eat, how often you move, how much sleep you get, and the choices you make every day about how to deal with stress have an impact on your future mental health. It is just as important as ignoring worry, pushing through burnout, or keeping it inside. Emotions can make you mentally fatigued and cause long-term health problems that get harder to fix. Self-reflection, rest, and awareness are all ways to take care of your mind. Getting help when you need it is not a luxury, it's a necessity. That's the deep lesson. Health really is everything. Without it, life is restricted, and even the smallest joys feel more. It's difficult to see how the little things you do today to take care of yourself are investments. Develop a set of habits that will benefit you throughout your life when you treat your body and mind as valuable tools. Give yourself 9 things that will not only help you achieve, but also help you live a full life. Bring happiness. It's simple to believe that happiness is just around the corner. The next thing they buy is expensive clothes, the newest tech, or a bigger apartment. Dream car society constantly suggests that pursuing more is the path to happiness. Many of us in our 20s believe that these pursuits will finally bring us joy, happy, but here's the truth. Material things only make you feel good for a short time. The excitement of getting a new thing wears off, and the pleasure we get from having things to do is usually only for a short time. I remember saving up for things I thought would make me feel good. You have nice shoes, a new phone, and nice furniture for your flat. I would feel satisfied for a short time, but soon I would want the next thing. No matter what you buy, this circle of consumerism will never end. There's always something else that looks a little better or says it will make you whole. But the truth is that nothing can. After receiving something, we often feel empty, really want to be happy, but can't find true happiness in things that... What you have depends on who you are and how well you get along with other people. It has been shown through experiences and studies of inner progress that after a certain point, once your basic needs are satisfied, having more money and stuff doesn't make you happier. Money has almost no effect on happiness. What really makes people happy? We can feel fulfilled as we build our adventures, relationships, and personal growth. That money can't buy. When we depend on things to make us happy, we end up disappointed. I am stuck on a hedonic loop, always looking for the next thing to keep me going. That feeling you can't shake, and the worst part is that your happiness depends on your possessions. Things that are simple to lose, damage, or repair can be considered vulnerable. Measure up to our hopes for them when our happiness depends on them. It's fragile and only temporary, and it's always just out of reach. The joy that stems from embarking on adventures, fostering personal relationships, and spending quality time. Spend time with family and friends, learn new things, work on personal goals, or help others. For some, these things provide enduring happiness that doesn't fade away. Your life improves when you focus on the things you own, not because you have more, but because they didn't need as much of the deep meaning stuff. They can make your life easier, but they can't give it value. That's where real happiness comes from. Relationships, life events, and growth occur when you stop. Spending money on yourself rather than things will make you happier. A kind of happiness that lasts and is all yours is the final harsh truth. There's no way around making sacrifices in life if you want something. Importantly, you'll have to make some sacrifices. This is one of those tough. Some facts can be challenging to accept when you're in your 20s and want to enjoy everything life has to offer, without limits. But the truth is that real progress, growth, and success often come with a price, and learning to put things in order of importance takes. I thought I could let go of things that didn't help those goals for years. I'd try to balance everything so I could have it all without giving up anything. Considering my job, personal life, and hobbies, I believed that I could. Every aspect of my life was my focus. But in the end, I learned that if I tried to do too many things at once, I wouldn't make any real progress and would get tired. I knew I had to take action when I felt stressed out, and like I was just treading water, make some tough decisions by saying no to things that kept me from my goals. I let go of habits that didn't help me get where I wanted to go every day. Whether it's establishing a career or pursuing a passion, it takes time, effort, and attention to build a strong relationship. You must prioritize one area, even if it requires sacrificing time or energy. This could be utilized for something more enjoyable at the moment. For instance, consider an athlete undergoing training. For a race, they give up nights out, fancy meals, and sometimes even to keep up their routine. The same is true for anyone building something valuable. There's often the quiet trade-off is that other people don't see how exciting life is in your 20s. Discovery strives to achieve numerous objectives and occasionally encounters errors. These facts aren't meant to hold you back, but set you free. If you understand them now, you can avoid the countless individuals encounter dreadful life lessons firsthand. Accept the fact that life is what it is. It's not about being perfect. It's about growth, grit, and getting things done. You can use these truths as a base to build a life that is not only wonderful, but also keep in mind that the journey may not always be straightforward, but it is undoubtedly worthwhile. So embrace the challenge. Take a deep breath, face the obstacles, and remember that every step you take brings you closer to your goal. This is the life you were meant to live. Thanks for watching, and happy living. I am deepening my understanding of myself and gaining extensive knowledge about it. See you in the next video.